Hey everybody, welcome to today's 1 Million by 1 Million Strategy Roundtable for Entrepreneurs. 1M1M, as you know, is the first global virtual accelerator in the world. Our mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million in revenue and beyond, build $1 trillion in global GDP and 10 million jobs. And in support of that mission, we've been doing these free mentoring roundtables for a long time. This is the 309th session. And we are going to continue to do this as much as possible. We've had the opportunity and the privilege to work with and to listen to the ideas and work with the ideas of numerous entrepreneurs. Over 50,000 people have participated in these sessions over the years. The event is being recorded, so you will have a recording available after the session on both our blog and our YouTube channel. Our Twitter handles are at 1M by 1M and at Romana. You'll find tons of rich content on entrepreneurship through those channels. And if you're live tweeting the show today, please use hashtag 1M1M. And our YouTube channel is 1M1M Roundtables, where you will find recordings of all prior roundtables as well as other content. It's a very rich repository of content that we have developed over the years as well. Now, this is a roundtable, so we do want you to all participate as much as possible. These are the call-in instructions. We're not quite ready for call-in yet, but we will be later on in the program. So as you're going through the program with us today, please prepare to speak, prepare to participate, prepare to ask questions. And these, the numbers on your screen are going to be the call-in numbers. We will put the slide back up when we're ready to receive the calls. And in the meantime, you can always use the public chat. Make sure you set your chat to send to all participants so that you can participate as we go along. We're going to start today with a conversation with Fred Guelen, who's one of the founders of Planon Group. And Planon is a Dutch company that has scaled very substantially. You will learn more about this company in a moment as we talk with Fred. Fred, welcome to the show. We are delighted to have you here and showcase your wonderful journey in this program.
Well, thank you very much, Romana, for inviting me, and it is really a pleasure to participate.
So Fred, let's start by you're telling our audience a bit about Planon and your business, and what do you do, how do you do what you do, so that they have some context.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to do that, and please stop me if I'm talking too long, because we are very enthusiastic about our business, of course. Well, but Planon is a software company. It develops, it sells, implements, and supports software. And it is software in the area of real estate and facility management. So it has to do with buildings, spaces in buildings, assets that are in the buildings, and of course also people that are using the buildings. Just to give a little bit of an idea of what is in our industry important, we have customers that use our system for portfolio management, for the lease management, all the lease agreements. They also use it for strategic space planning, so to know when and how much to expand or to reduce available space. Other customers are more focused on the whole maintenance part of buildings and the daily operations. So with our system, you can plan maintenance, execute maintenance by creating tons of work orders, allocating resources. And when a lot of companies use, of course, also external service providers, and with our system you can manage those contracts, the SLA levels that are agreed, and things like that. Other part is getting more and more traction and more important is the whole energy management of companies and the weight, the quantities of waste. And you can, with the system, you can start all kinds of projects and monitor whether the targeted goals are being achieved. Another thing is, about fixed and flexible workplaces, allocation, moves, reservation, everything that has to do with that, and to know and to optimize the actual use of available spaces. Well, and then I think last but not least, it is all the processes and interactions between people and the building. You have owners, operators, users of the building, and at the end, I think what the system makes it special, and that's how to end this short introduction, is that it is, at the end, it's all a fully integrated one system, one database, so you have one source of truth for all relevant information relating to what I said, the buildings, the spaces, the assets, and the people.
Okay. And Fred, you have bootstrapped this company to $100 million. How did you do it? And you did it from the Netherlands. So tell us a little bit about the beginning of the company. How did you manage to scale it to this extent without any external financing?
Yeah. Well, the good thing is, and the good news is, it always goes step by step and dollar by dollar. But I think what has been crucial, my brother started it initially. He was a building engineer, and he created his own consultancy firm, and he was involved, and he was engaged with a lot of customers that needed advice on their maintenance of their buildings. At a certain moment, those customers came in and asked, well, whether he had also some software tools that could automate certain processes and could make things easier, and that the production of certain processes was going to be much more fluid. I think so that and what he did was reinvesting the proceeds, the profits of his consultancy firm, to reinvest that in developing the software. In that respect, what was also very important in that growth, when you are at a certain point and you say, I want to reach 10 million, it will never happen. It is always step by step. So what we did was set 3-year goals and annual plans. And then,
Fred, I think I'm going to cut in for a moment to just highlight what is replicable for, what people can learn from your journey. You have followed a bootstrapping using services strategy. As you pointed out, your brother consulted for a while on these relevant projects and started, offering advice on facilities management and so forth, using his building engineering background. And then that kind of morphed into some software tools and that were built using those consulting revenues, essentially. So it's kind of like a bootstrapping using services methodology that has allowed you to build the products and sell the products early on, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. That's right on the point. And also in his contacts with those customers, he got a very good insight in what they were expecting from a software tool that could support their activities. And, many times we described it as that the software was more or less co-developed together with a couple of important and very proactive customers.
Which is one of the great benefits of doing a bootstrapping using services strategy is you have such customer intimacy that you can really, develop something in collaboration with customers.
Yeah,
and
sure.
What has been, go on.
Yeah, so what I would like to add there, what you are not seen as a salesman that comes in to sell some software. You are in there, you have that relationship, you are engaged, you understand fully the business, and then you can make the software and develop it and design it that is immediately addressing the needs of the customer.
So Fred, what has been your key?
Sorry?
What has been your key customer acquisition strategy? So, of course, once you're in there with the consulting customers and so forth, you were able to build the product, but then you've also scaled phenomenally from those early days to now, and you have $100 million in revenue and a lot of customers. What has worked for you in terms of acquiring those customers?
Yeah. Well, I would, it is immediately in following up on what we were talking about just a couple of minutes ago. It is all, as I would say, it's look, listen, and learn. When you are engaged with your customers, you know what the problems are, the challenges are that they are confronted with. So what happened was, and that is has been the core of our acquisition strategy, is that you become a thought leader, that you really become an expert in the field. And what Planon always did was going out, share the experience, be active on all kinds of platforms and in all kinds of organizations, whether it was, for example, like IFMA, but also a lot of smaller groups that were at that time existing in the Netherlands. And by being known, you become known in that part of the market, and you have excellent references. The people, also the companies in the Netherlands, came very actively and more or less proactively to Planon, instead of Planon having to go spend a lot of marketing money and go after those customers. That has been quite crucial in the early stage of the growth of Planon.
So basically, if I understood you, you went and presented at a lot of different trade associations that deal with your problem domain, and because of your domain knowledge, you were invited to talk about the problems and how to solve them, etc. And you developed a recognized thought leadership positioning, and people were reaching out to you when they encountered those problems.
Yeah, absolutely. And Planon is still is continuing doing that. There is no single trade show or exhibition or conference in the world in our field where Planon is not available. We are not present and not presenting. We have always seen that as crucial to share that knowledge also in our software product itself. It is what we have the so-called accelerator, which is a sort of pre-configured way of our software, representing all the best practices that we have seen over the last 30 years in all over the world at customers, when implementing our software. Because we see that as one of to be that expert, to be seen as that people come to you, that you are able to share that knowledge as really extremely important.
And that today, in the days of, internet and social media, there are many ways of establishing that thought leadership position. One of the key ways to do that is through, writing, whether it's blogging or writing in social media and so forth. We've done that very extensively as well, and it's a very effective strategy to establish that thought leadership position.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
now,
and all
Fred,
the new,
what about
additional opportunities there.
What about geographical expansion? I know you started in Europe, but you're now quite a global company. So tell us a little bit about your, maybe your first initial moves of moving into North America, for instance, and any other interesting nuggets that you could discuss about global expansion.
Yeah, I have to say that we are a little bit lucky of coming from a very small country. The Netherlands only has about 16 million people, and the market is relatively small. From where Planon is established in the Netherlands, it's 20 miles east, and you're in Germany, and you go 30 miles south, and you're in Belgium, and very quickly thereafter France. So it has Planon got very quickly a very dominant position in the Netherlands, and I think that was one of the great decisions of my brother, that he understood that the software market is a global market, an international market, and he started very early to set up partnerships in the countries around the Netherlands. So starting in Belgium, Germany, and the UK. After some years, after certain years, more money was needed to grow those operations in those countries. Mostly the partner did not have that money, and that was always a good moment to acquire the partner and then to provide the financing ourselves. So that is
so
how we did it.
You sell in other geographies through system integrators?
Very rarely. We do have some partners, some resellers, but in most countries we are selling ourselves, where we have our own operations, and we have what we call an international squad team that is picking up all the interesting opportunities of larger corporations where, in countries where we don't have our own company.
Okay. And North America, did you do anything special to move from Europe to North America?
Yes, we did something very special, actually. We failed, and we failed in the beginning. What we did is we went over the first time to America. It was totally obvious that we had to be in America, being still representing 40 to 45% of the global software market. So the first time we went here, we visited people in the industry, and we started very small by hiring 2 or 3 people. It took us a long time to really understand that didn't work in North America. I'm now about myself here for a year and a half, and just to experience how big this country is giving you a whole different concept. And it took us some time. We were also very much focused on Europe in expanding in the other countries and to Asia, and so we did not have enough focus on the U.S. So after some 6 years, we did sell. We had a good product. The companies liked our product, and so we did grow our customer base. But it was clear that in order to also become the leader in this market here in North America, that we had to do something else, and that is what we decided in 2014 to really to come up with a comprehensive plan. And we decided to establish a dual headquarters strategy. So I moved here. Also, our head of global marketing is here in Boston, and we are now really doing the things in a different way. And well, to be honest, we are quite successful because we have huge growth rates at the moment. But
so now you're at about 100 million in revenue. You're quite global. Where do you go from here? Do you want to keep running the business? Do you want to sell to private equity, raise money, and grow further? What are the You have a lot of choices. How do you think of these choices? How do you evaluate these choices, and where do you want to go?
Yeah, all very good questions that are very important to answer in setting our strategy. I think first of all, we see still huge opportunity to grow in the whole world. Mm-hmm. Facility management, real estate management, and it's called an IWMS system, an integrated workplace management system. It is still relatively unknown to a lot of companies. You would be surprised, Samana, to see how many large corporations and mid-sized corporations are still managing their real estate and facilities with some small tools or even with spreadsheets. Mm-hmm. It is really incredible. So we see still a huge opportunity for growth, and we see now, especially that started a couple of years ago, that large corporations really want to have one system for their entire global operation. That gives huge advantages, and we see a very high traction there. So first of all, that means that we will keep, we want to double our revenue in the next 4 to 5 years, and to be a dominant player in North America and Asia. And so we will continue our being an entrepreneur in that respect, and it gives us a lot of fun. It gives us a lot of satisfaction, and the journey is what is the beauty of it. And so we get offers from venture capitalists and other strategic buyers almost on a weekly basis. But then you have to think, what am I going to do? And at the end, it's a very simple decision. We prefer to manage a business and do that together with a lot of people instead of managing a bag of money.
Mm-hmm. So you're not interested in investment. Are you interested in going public?
Well, that's certainly one of the exit opportunities. My brother and I, we are now in our 50s, mid-50s, so we still have some great time to go. But also for the company, at a certain moment, it would probably be good for the longer term and to get either outside investors or to go for an IPO. That would be perfectly feasible. But as I said, we do not yet have a clear, defined exit strategy because the next 4 to 7 years we probably are still busy and focused on growing our business.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Very good. And what is it like to do this business out of Netherlands? You're probably one of the largest software companies out of the Netherlands, right?
Yeah, I think so. Well, the Netherlands was a great country to start a business. It's small, so you very quickly know everybody that has a say in the industry. There are very well qualified and very well trained employees and people. The infrastructure with the Schiphol airport is extremely well.
Great airport.
We are well connected. Yeah, we are well connected. Yeah. No, and it's well connected, and and as I said, it is a small country. So the big advantage is, you're very quickly abroad.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, well, also here to the East Coast of America, it takes about the same flight time whether I go to our office in Seattle or whether I fly to our headquarters in Nijmegen in the Netherlands.
And what does Planon do in the Netherlands to support the entrepreneurship ecosystem? Do you do anything?
Oh yes, absolutely. We have contacts with and programs with a lot of universities. So Planon, our software in Europe, is also used by over 250 universities all over Europe. And through those contacts, we also have set up certain programs. We have continuously interns from universities working in our office. They're doing their thesis, they're doing research. Also in some research projects, we are together with certain universities. And in that way, we try to further develop the science behind the real estate and facility management, and also to enthusiasmize a lot of people to get a training and education in this field and to start working in it.
Mm-hmm. I see. Okay, so it's more in the context of your company that you do the outreach and with the ecosystem, not so much in encouraging new entrepreneurs in other domains. All right, very good.
So, yeah, you are oftenly asked through contacts. As I said, the Netherlands is small, whether it's through our banks or auditors or other partners in the Netherlands. We are often asked to have conversations like this to share our knowledge and experience, and that is very valuable. We were also involved shortly in with the brother of our king, who is very active in this field as well, Constantijn. And
yeah, so I know Constantijn well. Yeah.
And so we love to do that. We are passionate about being an entrepreneur. We are, I think, the 5th generation of entrepreneurs, and we like to stand in the middle of the community in order also, again, to look, listen, and learn for ourselves from what is going on.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Fred, I'm going to invite our presenters to come on next. So we can listen to the pitches and you can weigh in on their businesses. Folks, for those of you who are presenting today, I want to set some expectations. We are here almost entirely exclusively to help in your journey. We have no other agenda. We are on your side. So even if the feedback you get has, criticism in it, think of that as constructive critique, not as anything negative. In any entrepreneur's journey, there is going to be, especially because we work mostly with fairly inexperienced first-time entrepreneurs, there's going to be a lot of things, a lot of mistakes that you're going to be making. And our goal here is to help you not make those mistakes and lose time and lose resources, because you have limited runway and you have limited amount of emotional energy and you have limited amount of money. So we have to kind of be as efficient as possible so that you can move as fast and as accelerated a fashion as possible. And that's really what we are trying to do here. So please do not be defensive about the feedback you get here. We are really on your side, and everything we are doing here is to help you. The other point I want to make is that, as you heard in the Planon story just now, 0 to 100 million with no external financing. So raising money is not the be-all and end-all of entrepreneurship. What is really important, our vision of successful entrepreneurship is customers, revenues, and profits. So entrepreneurship equals financing is a point of view, is a system of thought that is not consistent with the way we think about it. Nonetheless, we are not opposed to financing. We have a lot of companies in our portfolio that have raised financing, and we have helped them raise financing in cases. But the point that you have to understand is not all businesses can raise money. Raising money does not guarantee success, and not all businesses should raise money. So raising money is a decision tree in itself, and you have to understand that decision tree and make the right decisions in that context. Now, if you're not pitching today, please do participate by asking questions in public chat as well as calling in later on. We're going to start today with Madhulika Mukherjee. Madhulika, please unmute your line and tell us what you're doing from Bangalore, India.
Hello, hi, this is Madhulika. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Oh, okay, cool. Hi, and Mr. Price, it was great listening to you. The entire talk was extremely relevant. And because you are a B2B business which has been, which you scaled to $100 million, and we're a B2B business trying to scale, so it was extremely relevant. May I begin with my pitch?
Yes, please.
Okay. So hi, so we're Surveyors. We help multi-outlet businesses understand the opinions of their customers by aggregating and analyzing unstructured text reviews. So we're a SaaS B2B platform, and we call ourselves a customer experience management solution. So essentially, what is customer experience? It is what a customer thinks of when he first sees an advertisement. If you're a hotel business owner, it's not just the food he eats at your hotel, but what the hotel room smells like when he enters the room. It is also his experience at the checkout counter with your receptionist. So it is the entire experience that he has with your product or your service. Now, obviously, the better it gets, the better it is for you as a business, right? Next slide, please. Customer experience is a direct, quantifiable relationship to financial returns. But for you as a business owner to be making that much money, you need to be present where the customers are talking about you, where they're conversing about you with their friends, or where they're having opinions about you. Next slide, please. How do you plan to make that much money if only 4% of your customers are even directly talking to you and the rest are not? Next slide. Most of the opinions and the reviews that you get from your customers are in four parts, which is emails, calls, digital feedback forms, and paper feedback forms, of which feedback forms are structured data. The rest is not. The rest is all unstructured data, wherein people are talking about your business on various websites like TripAdvisor and Zomato and Guelen. They're tweeting about you, they're posting about you. We did a research with about 50 hotels, which had multiple units. So we asked them, how do you make customer-driven decisions? And they said that they based their entire customer-driven decisions on only this much structured data, which is coming from feedback forms. Now, this is half of that 4%. It's obviously misleading. Making conclusions from this data does not represent the aggregated opinion of their audience. Next slide, please. But understanding all of this unstructured data is extremely important, but extremely difficult also. Firstly, because it's computationally complex, because obviously there's a lot of it. It is also monetarily expensive, because for any sizable business, they will have about 1 million reviews. Firstly, reading that will take time, and to even computationally, to even understand it, they'll have to have some data analyst or somebody involved who will draw the charts, compute the numbers, and tell them exactly what the customers think about them after analyzing all this unstructured text data. Next slide, please. However, going through all of that is extremely important, because by the year 2020, customer experience will overtake price and product as the key brand differentiator. Look at your experience, for example, with Amazon and any other marketplace. Look at your experience, for example, the previous slide, please. Look at your experience, for example, with any like Lyft and Uber and Ola, these kind of companies. So obviously you have a preference and you have this great dichotomy in your mind wherein you would choose just one over the other. It is not about the product anymore, and it's definitely not about the price anymore. It's not about what comes cheaper. What is more important here is the customer experience you're getting at each of these businesses. Next slide, please. Before I move into the solution that we have, I just want to tell you that more and more businesses are right now realizing that investing time and money into customer experience management solution software has become very important. And this is why the market right now is at $4.36 billion, which is growing at a staggering rate of 20%. What is noteworthy here is that half of this is in, about 48% of this is in US alone, the customer experience management space. And ZDNet even says that the customer experience management space is one of the top most emerging enterprise technologies to look out for in the next decade. Next slide, please. So our solution is Surveyor, which is an online SaaS customer experience management solution which lets companies measure customer experience and act on it in real time. What we do is that we give the company on the dashboard an overall Surveyor's customer centricity score. We also take topics that are most being talked about by the customers from all of these unstructured reviews that the company has on all of these channels that I talked about, like Yelp and TripAdvisor and places. We segregate all of this data into the business's separate business units. So, for example, a hotel business owner could have various hotels in all over the United States, in Netherlands, in India, and all over the world. So, what we do is that we extract from all of these text reviews the main topics that are being talked about. We give a score to all of these topics as to how good or bad you're doing on these topics, and we segregate this for all of the business units separately. We also give actual insights in plain words, things like for example, your cleanliness rating at your hotel in, say, Washington needs to go up by 2 points to increase your overall centricity score by 0.5 points. So insights as granular as this for them to understand exactly where they're going wrong and what they need to improve to be able to increase the level of customer experience they're providing to the customers at all of their separate business units. The business owner can then see aspects which he's doing good at in one business unit, say in Washington, and he can go ahead and apply those strategies that are working in Washington to, say, some hotel which is not doing so good on some aspects. So those are the kind of insights we give them. Next slide, please. So to summarize, what we do is that we aggregate feedback from all channels. We use machine learning techniques to extract the key aspects like cleanliness and room service and all kinds of aspects. We give actionable insights from all of these customer opinions. We tell them in plain words exactly what needs to be done for them to improve their customer experience. Next slide, please. Our business model is very simple. We are an entirely do-it-yourself software as a service model. Companies pay a monthly subscription charge to keep using the product, which stands at $80 per month per business outlet or business unit that they want us analyzed. We also have a report subscription model available for those clients which want a more non-intrusive implementation, for any business owner who does not want another dashboard to look at. So for them, we harness the power of our machine learning engine entirely onto bi-weekly reports that we give them. So that is the report subscription model that we have. Next slide, please. Before I move on to our competitors, I'll quickly go through what the customer experience management space looks like right now. There was a time when we used to have survey tools. which used to take direct feedback and calculate the net promoter score and claim that they have that they're measuring the customer satisfaction. So that is the kind of service they used to provide to businesses. What then came was online reputation management tools, which essentially what they did was they managed and monitored online reviews at all these websites. They gave you a platform to easily reply to those reviews and things. And lastly, the social listening tools, which used to identify influencers on Facebook or Twitter and schedule posts and measure engagement. That is what customer experience management space looks like. Next slide, please. So we're not the only people doing this. We have a lot of competitors, of which Repufact, Clarabridge, and OneDirect are our closest competitors. Next slide, please. Yeah. So now, obviously, as in any pitch deck, Surveyder comes out on top for three main reasons. Firstly, we're machine learning powered, which means that we understand the context of each and every review, what your customer wants to say in that review, and we tell you exactly in numbers how you're doing on each of different aspects. What we also do is we do not just throw numbers at you, which means that we give you in plain words exactly the insights that are important for your business. And yeah, so those are the reasons why Surveyder comes up on top than other competitors. We're also extremely easy to use. So this is unlike any other bulky customers, any other enterprise solution software, wherein which requires a 1 month or 1 week of handholding and training of your businesses and your departments. We do not require any such thing. Just 5 clicks and you're ready to go. You're up on the platform and all of your reviews are coming in for your business, for all of your business outlets separately, and you can easily see the insights that you want to see every morning when you log in. Next slide, please. So having said that, we have a bit of traction so far. We're still a very early age startup. We're 2 months out and we're in closed beta stage. We're doing pilots with three clients here in India. One of them is Quick Stay Hotels, another is Pay2, and there's Sterling Resorts. So these 500 hotels and 70 outlets and 38 resorts are using our product as we speak right now, and they are gaining a lot of insights from the dashboard that we see every morning. They're gaining a lot of insights they're getting a lot of value from the insights we're giving them. We're also beginning to start pilots with Tattva Spas, which is again a spa chain in India, with Oyo Rooms, which is a 5,000+ hotel chain in India, and Global, which is a US-based automobile company. Lastly, we're also partnering with Web CRS Technology. This is a company which has a software suite for hospitality industry alone. So what they're going to do is that they like our product, and hence they're taking Surveyder the product, packaging it with their suite of software, and through them we're going to network to 400+ hotels in their network. Next slide, please. The team right now is me, Madhulika, and my colleague Tushar. We're 2 co-founders. I handle all of technology at the company, wherein Tushar handles business and product and strategy. We're supported and accelerated right now at Accelerator Ventures, which is an accelerator here in Bangalore, in India. So we were one of the 10 startups all over the country to get selected for this accelerator program by the co-founders of Infosys itself. So these are 3 co-founders of Infosys, Mr. Shibula, Mr. Chris Gopalakrishnan, and Mr. Srinath Batni. Other than that, we have our mentors here, Mr. Ponappa, Mr. Khurana, and Mr. Shankar. Next slide, please. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
And what are your questions?
Yeah, thank you, Samana. Our questions are, so firstly, we wish to know what should be our strategy to scale. Right now, we're in closed beta stage, and we want to know that after beta, should we keep going on our feet-on-field strategy, or like what should we do? Because Fred here has built a global product, and we believe that ours is also a very global product. Right now, we're in India alone, so we want to understand how exactly to scale to a global scale.
Fred, I'll let you take that question, and I'll answer after you've answered. Fred?
Sorry, I was just still on mute. First of all, congratulations to have this product and to have those first customers for the pilot. I am a little bit puzzled when you talk about scaling. I'm also thinking a little bit about it from a financial perspective, If I understand it correctly, you are talking about $80 per month. How exactly do you see that? Is that then when you have that pilot with the hotels? I cannot imagine that they are only paying $80 per month.
No. So, thank you for the question. So it's not $80 per month for the business. So, for example, I talked about, so pay to here are 17 outlets. So they pay 80 into 17 per month. So they're paying per outlet $80 per outlet per month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, it's a very small deal size, Fred, is what I think what you're pointing out is that it's a very small deal size per customer. So Madhulika, to answer your question about, scaling, this is a deal size at which you cannot scale a business by having to visit everybody. That's just not going to work. So you're going to need to create a structure whereby you can sell on the phone. Deal sizes of a few $1,000s you cannot really sell by going to visit them all the time. Now there is some good news in that is when you try to do globally, if it's something that you can scale or sell by selling on the web and by phone, that means you can do that whole infrastructure, the sales infrastructure from India, which a lot of companies are doing right now. A lot of companies have scaled purely. One of our portfolio companies is FreshDesk, for instance, and that they have over 50,000 global customers, and they have a small, deal size, average deal size, but they sell entirely with. They're not visiting people to sell.
Yeah, exactly. So to answer your query, I should say that yes, we are an entirely SaaS platform. So since we are really early, so right now what we were doing was that we were going to every client. So since we have just 3 to 4 clients right now, so we were approaching them by meeting them. Of course, we plan to go global by since our deal size is small. This should be all inbound leads, and of course, these should be people who are finding us on their own. And the sales have to be over phone and over email and not by actually meeting them. But for the first about 10 to 50 customers, we were thinking that maybe we should go.
Yeah, and you have to. The first 10 to 15, perhaps even more customers, you need to do it in person. And most of all, it's very easy to put this slide up in a PowerPoint deck. To get to a product that is a robust product that you can compete with Medallia and Clarabridge on is not a joke. And it's going to take you a long time to get there where you can actually defend this position. Right now, this market position is only in your head. Exactly. To actually convert that into execution is going to be a lot of work, and you need to work with customers, get feedback, and really see that this is working in the customer context and so forth. So having a group of 20 to 30 or maybe even 50 customer relationships that are really core customer relationships where you are really developing the product is very important.
Okay, so what you're saying is that, I'm sorry, please go on.
If I may add to that, you are in a business-to-business market with an extremely small deal size, and also with a very small solution. So I have to say that it will be a real uphill struggle to get the traction, to get sufficient customers in that are using your system in a substantive way in order to gain sufficient revenue streams.
That's correct.
All right. Okay.
That's correct. It's going to be very hard to scale fast. You will scale, but you will not scale very fast, given the parameters of the business.
All right. So we should probably have the feet on street strategy right now. Work closely with more and more customers, evolve the product as we go, so as to be able to compete with these players, right?
Yes, and understand that also these players do not have this very small deal size scenario, Clarabridge and Medallia are selling large enterprise deals. I know both of them very well. I know the CEOs, the founders, everybody. These are companies that sell large enterprise deals. They're not selling $80 per unit kind of solutions.
Okay. Medallia, I think, is it in a more consulting plus software space? As in, they do a little bit of consulting also. Is that so?
Well, you know, in all enterprise sales, at some point there is consultative selling. But like Medallia, one of Medallia's big customers is Apple, and they do all Apple Store customer feedback. That's not a $80 deal. That's a much bigger deal.
Of course. Okay, yes, we're still at price discovery, so we don't yet know yet. So yeah, that's something we need to do.
Well, and your problem also is that in India, the market doesn't tolerate higher prices. So you're kind of, because you're going after the Indian market, your pricing needs to be at a level that the Indian market will tolerate. So Indian business-facing SaaS kind of needs to be priced at a level that the Indian business will accept. So.
Exactly.
Anyway,
so
right now your main agenda is to get the customers and get a product together. You know, working with these customers.
Because what would be at the end your challenge will, as I see it, will be that your additional value, the additional quality of the output with your tool will justify for a company to buy another tool, another product. And and so I can't judge, you know, how close the quality of the output of your product is compared to those of your competitors. But that will be main in trying to get some part of the market.
Well, and I will tell you, I have a lot of visibility into Clarabridge and Medallia. I know those two companies extremely well, and we have case studies on both of those. Those are very substantial products. So please do not assume that you can dismiss those products that easily. To build products of that scale is an expensive, multi-year exercise, and these companies have been around for a long time. Medallia has been around for a long time. So so be careful with your assumptions and your expectations of what you can do as a little company that is largely bootstrapped. It's not like you're going to be raising money on a dime either. You don't raise money that easily for these companies either. So you know you have to bootstrap your way to quite a bit of traction. So that's those are the main feedback. Madhulika, thank you for your presentation. Your presentation is good, and I'm glad to see that you're, you know, at least moving into the customers relatively, you know, solidly. So let's see what you can do with those customers and how well you architect your product.
Thank you so much, and thank you for letting me present. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Tunde, you're up next from Lagos, Nigeria. Tunde, are you on the call?
Yes, I'm on the call.
All right. Could you speak up a bit? Your voice is coming very low.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Rana.
Tell us what you're doing.
All right, my name is Suya in Nigeria, and like basically IT solution company, and they have initiatives to empower education to stimulate education among people.
You know, we can't hear you. I can't understand anything you're saying at this point. So I don't know what's going on in your infrastructure. Either you need to speak up or speak closer to your phone or something, but right now I don't understand anything of what you're saying.
Okay, I think it's better now.
That's much better. Go ahead. What happened? Are you there? Did he drop off? Call has dropped. Okay, we're going to go to the next person. All right, we'll get Tunde back on, and in the meantime, Medo Eldin, would you please unmute your line and tell us what you're working on? Medo is from Sacramento, California.
Hi, can you hear me?
Need to unmute your line. Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, excellent. Thank you for so much for having me on. My name is Medo Eldin. I'm from Sacramento, California. I have 3 master's degrees, including one from Harvard, in which I studied social networks and multi-sided markets. And I'm here to talk to you today about my platform, which enables communication and management in youth sports teams and other types of groups.
Okay.
Next slide, please. As I mentioned, we built a platform that enables communication, coordination, and sharing on a platform for youth sports. We see youth sports teams as the primary vertical that we're going to be accessing, and then in the future, we'll be applying our ability to communicate, coordinate, and share to other types of small group environments. Next slide, please. This is an overview, a positioning overview of our product type, architecture. As you know, there's many social networks in the market. Facebook is your everyday content. YouTube is videos. Twitter is your short messages. The last area in social networking, which no company has yet established a dominant category-defining product, is in small group sharing of information. And you could see on this axis that talks about information, the vertical axis ranges from public information to private, whereas the x-axis goes from low-value content to high-value. And so the area that we're targeting is information and content which is important to people and which they want to maintain their privacy. Next slide, please.
And how does that, I mean, there is a private group feature in Facebook. Why is that not adequate?
The reason it's not adequate is because there's a sizable percentage of the population that fears Facebook because of privacy concerns. And so anytime that you have a group experience in which you lose 20 to 30% of the participants because they don't want to be on Facebook, you break apart the ability to have a cohesive group experience. Last spring, when we put the product out there, we saw a spike in one of the albums in which 700 photos and videos were added to a single album over 5 days. And when we looked into it, we discovered that it was a class, an 8th grade class in Texas that had used the platform for their trip to Washington, D.C. This was a situation where you had a teacher that wanted to provide a safe, closed, social experience for the kids and did not want to use Facebook because of all the issues that people have with privacy. That was our first data point, our first signal that there would be interest in this type of architecture when you have kids involved. About a month later, we were contacted by a lady that coaches a cheerleading team, and she was using it because she didn't want to put photos or videos of her girls on YouTube or Facebook because they're young girls. That was our second signal. And then a month later, we were contacted by a lady that is a team mom for 4 football teams, and she wanted to know if we could incorporate the ability to communicate and schedule. And that was the third data point where we had an administrator and kids. And that's what inspired us to turn the platform and point it towards youth sports teams. Next slide, please. As I mentioned, the platform, and it is built as a platform, allows multiple sides of the community, provides benefits to multiple sides. In the case of the manager or coach, their interest is in administering the season, managing the players, managing the parents. And so there are management features that allow the manager to do that. The manager is also acting as the influencer who mandates adoption of the platform by the players and parents so that they can manage the platform in the season. Next slide, please. The platform also allows for communication amongst the various groups. As you know, about a year ago, Facebook did remove the Messenger out of the main Facebook app and launched it as a separate app. So whereas we're different is we actually incorporate the Messenger still inside of the app, and that allows for one-to-one communication as well as…
Facebook has not removed Messenger from the main app. It's in both places. It's got a separate app as well as it's inside Facebook. We use it all the time.
In the mobile app, Facebook did remove Messenger, and if you tap on the Messenger button, it launches the Messenger app.
Right.
So our platform allows for communication amongst the members in the team, both one-to-one as well as one-to-many group communication. Next slide, please. Once you have the members on the platform communicating, interacting, and coordinating, and you've established a vibrant community, you can then provide exposure to businesses that want to have access. And we have two levels of exposure. Local teams are sponsored by local businesses, and that's where they are being supported. So we provide the ability for the sponsor to provide exposure. We also have, once we have enough teams, we'll be able to provide exposure to national companies like, say, a Nike that wants to be able to market their goods across a large number of people in the youth sports industry. Next slide, please. Finally, the platform allows for administration from a high level from the organization that manages multiple teams. Here in the U.S., we have leagues that have hundreds of teams, and within each of those teams, there are groups. And so our platform allows for communication and administration at the club level and league level as well. Next slide, please. So we acquire customers in two levels. Teams can adopt simply by downloading the app. It is a free app in the store, and they can create teams and invite their users on. Then we have a top-down approach in which we market to leagues and clubs that wish to generate additional revenue by providing access to their sponsors, and so they would bring on all their teams in one lump decision. Next slide, please. Since launching in January, we've grown to in April we had 1,956 monthly active users. We are now at 2,200 monthly active users. We've entered into a phase where we're now entering into soccer season, so the numbers are starting to pick back up. And these users have all onboarded by word of mouth. We have teams all over the country. This is the aggregate user acquisition curve in terms of the total user base. As you can see here, we have 3,600 total that have actually downloaded, installed the app, and provided their cell number and email. As you can see,
and what does that mean? So 3,600, are these 3,600 individual users? How many teams does that represent?
That represents 150 teams that are actually using it currently. But what we have is people that download the app and will use it for team sports later on in the year.
And so, how are you making money?
So currently we're not generating revenue yet. We're in the phase of the product where we were looking to establish product market fit. Product market fit requires that the users are engaged on the platform, as well that we have a zero-cost user acquisition, because in the social media networking space, you need to be able to acquire users fast and you need to be able to keep them. And so those are the two metrics involved in product market fit, which we're now, I think we've established. These are some metrics that indicate that once people are on the platform, they stay on it. Most notably, if you look at the number of messages sent in activity metrics, we've had 6,700 messages that are going back and forth across the platform. 20,000 notifications, that's for any type of message or event that has been scheduled. So this indicates a very robust level of activity where people, once they get on the platform, they remain on the platform.
And of the 150 teams, hold on, Mido. Of the 150 teams that are on your platform now, how many of these are really actively using the product?
So if you look at the left-hand side, the engagement metrics, 60% of our users have 5 or more sessions per week.
No, that's not my question. My question is specific to how many of the teams are really actively using the product. So you're thinking about it from a user point of view. I'm asking you the question from a team point of view. Which teams are really, sold on this platform? Which teams are really have built this into their workflow?
All the teams that get on the platform and start using it are very, very engaged. I don't know how to answer the question other than to say that the community within the team uses the app extensively. So we have very, very high engagement of teams. Once they have downloaded the app and invited the players and parents on, they become very engaged users.
Okay, why don't you do your business model part of the presentation, because my question is really to do with how do you monetize, and are these teams sufficiently interested and sufficiently engaged that they're willing to pay for it? That's really where my question is.
So the competing product on the market is called TeamSnap, and TeamSnap charges between $100 to $150 per team per season. So because we are approaching the business from a community social media standpoint, we will be monetized. We can compete with them because we don't charge the team, but we can monetize in 3 different ways, which I'll get to on the next slide. This slide right here, what I'm pointing to is this talks about business models. This was a study done of the S&P 500. On the left-hand side, it found that network orchestrators get a multiple of 8.2 times revenue. The slide on the right showed that even though the multiples are extremely high for network orchestrators, only 2% of businesses fall into this category, and that is because it's extremely difficult to build a platform, a multi-sided platform. Next slide, please. Here's the monetization model. There are 3 levels of monetization, which we'll be moving into in the next 6 months. The first is the sponsorship. We allow the clubs, leagues, to unlock the ability to place content from their own local sponsor. So we'll be charging $50 per team in order for them to reveal sponsor content. We've built a sponsor system that embosses logos onto pictures, embeds content into the feed. We'll also be able to sell placement to national sponsors, so that's the sponsorship revenue. On the left, bottom left, we have transaction fees. These parents they pay in order to have their kids participate. Youth sports is a $7 billion a year industry. A majority of that is being paid by parents to have their kids participate, anywhere from $200 to $1,000 a year. And so we'll be offering teams the ability to transact, to collect registration fees, and then we'll take a fee. And then the bottom right, we'll have direct user revenue from direct-to-user premium features, such as the ability to export highlight videos of their kids, export calendar to their phone, so user-focused premium features.
Is any of this validated?
We are validated on our platform. The answer is no, but all of these models are validated separately in different areas. So we know that sports, there's money that is used to pay to sponsor sports. We know that these leagues use web-based platforms to capture registration fees, and we know that premium features are purchased from apps all over the place. So our first step was to build a platform in which people interact and come back to often, and then the next step is to turn on and experiment with these different monetization features.
Okay. What are your questions?
My question is this the type of, obviously we're in a new realm. A lot of products such as Facebook and Google had early years in which they were not monetizing. When is when is the right time to start focusing attention on monetizing versus building up a user base? Obviously, if you look at Facebook or Google, products like those, if they tried to monetize too soon, would not have been able to reach the scale that they have now. So there's something to be said for building scale
Google
versus
was
monetizing
right from the very beginning. There was no problem with monetization with Google because Google's monetization model is very simple. So search AdWords, search advertising was very simple to monetize. That was never a problem. Facebook could have monetized early, but they didn't for a while. But they also started monetizing quite early. If you look at Facebook's different fundraising, there's an article that I wrote a few months ago about Facebook's early, how did Facebook preserve so much equity ownership? How did Zuckerberg preserve so much equity ownership? It's because of the way they managed their whole monetization and so forth. So that's my answer to your comparable question. But the other question right now is we're in a very different market. Right now, after Facebook's success and success of a few other companies, there was in the market appetite for companies that were just generating eyeballs and not monetizing. That appetite is completely gone. So if you want to go on for a long time without monetization, you do it on your own dime. Don't expect investors to finance it. So that should basically help you decide what you want to do with your company.
Okay, thank you very much.
And if you look at this week's news, LinkedIn being acquired by Microsoft, why? Because LinkedIn is having a very hard time with its freemium business model monetizing. Freemium as a business model sucks. So what worries me about your mental model is that you're definitely thinking freemium, like a lot of entrepreneurs have done for the last 5, 7, 10 years. And premium is a terrible business model. So, and LinkedIn basically got themselves into a pickle with the freemium business model. And then they sold to Microsoft.
They also sold for $26 billion.
Yes, that is true. That is absolutely true. That is absolutely true. And the point of that is that they were able to attract enough venture capital to be able to finance this huge network growth and so forth despite no monetization or small monetization. It's not that they did not monetize. Their recruitment solution monetized somewhat. Even their premium subscription monetized somewhat. So they did generate a lot of revenue. But not enough at this point, and certainly not enough profits to be able to sustain as an independent company. My point is, what you're seeing in the market, Yahoo is on the block. Yahoo has not been able to monetize it, and we know too many companies at this point that have very large user bases that don't monetize, and investors have no appetite for this kind of business model at this point.
Okay, so you're speaking to my ability to raise funds to carry this, and I think you're probably right. We are seeing that in the market. So so you would advise to turn our attention to monetizing as quickly as possible.
See, I just don't believe in generating eyeballs and not monetizing, not having a monetization strategy. I just don't, to begin with, if you were, even 10 years back, if you came to me with this idea, I would say I'm not going to fund you. So in general, I have a bias against this idea of, pretending to do a business without having a business model. I don't believe in this. But there has been venture capitalists who have believed in it, and that has, helped some businesses get traction. But the truth is, Facebook, even if they didn't follow that strategy, would have still done fine, would have still been a very successful company, but because they were able to monetize. So there's a convoluted way of answering your question. Today, in 2016, that window has closed. Today you'll find more investors who are more in tune with my point of view than they were before. So your chances of raising money on this business plan is almost zero.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your feedback, and I really enjoy your show.
Very good. Glad you came and glad you pitched. So good luck figuring out a way to, see, you have to survive as a business. And to survive as a business, you're going to make revenues. You're going to have to make revenues. Figure out how you're going to survive, how you're going to make revenues. Everything else follows from there.
One of the things that that kind of is interesting is that now that we have validated that the product, the technology works, we've actually had some conversations with a couple of pro sports teams, and both have expressed interest in using it in order to reach out to, essentially, that's the fan base of the local sports team. And so this would be essentially, I don't know, one option that we have to us is to essentially white label it for individual pro teams in order to have them be able to market their product.
All those are good ideas. Explore whatever idea gives you a scalable monetization model. Explore all of those and see which one you can really build a repeatable process around.
Great, thank you.
Fred, did you want to add anything to Meadows' presentation? I'm sorry, I kind of...
I totally concur with your observations, and I think another huge challenge would be, it will only work if you could make this platform the exclusive platform for such sport teams, and you need on those platforms, you need the data from the leagues, from the sports organizations, from the clubs, so there are a lot of challenges to get this up and running, I'm afraid.
All right, Tunde, are you able to log back in? Are you on the call?
Yes, I'm on the call right now.
Okay.
Can you hear me there?
Yes, we can hear you. Let's take another go at School Live.
Yeah, School Live is probably an African initiative. Came to empower education, stimulate local economy, and create jobs. It's a solution, IT solution system. It manages school day-to-day activities pertaining to its administration for students, staff, and parents electronically to remove administrative bottlenecks and communication gaps between the parents and the school. That's the first thing that it does. Then another thing that it does, really like the second phase of the venture, is that it provides access to local content electronic library from Nigeria kindergarten to high school students to study with ease on portable devices, which is the first of its kind in Nigeria. Next slide, please. So what are our target customers? We are looking at selling our solutions to primary, high schools, and tertiary schools in Nigeria. And what are the things we saw before we deployed this solution into the marketplace? Because we did a kind of research and moved around schools to see their pains and see how we could provide solutions to them. Number one is the information exchange system, complexities among the various departments in schools in Nigeria. Then there's also administrative bottlenecks. There is communication gap between the parents and the schools. There's inability of the parents to monitor their works and performances real time. Then there is also inability to access the library of recommended books for students, right from closer to study. So they are having these issues that except you get to the library, the physical library right now, and you go there to read textbooks that are in there. You can't have access, to local content right from, your mobile devices or even the systems you have in your schools. So we are looking at, apart from developing a school management system that can manage, all the school processes, right from school records in such a way that parents could monitor the performance of their works right from homes, and at the same time, provide reduce administrative bottlenecks, inside the school, in HR processes, hostel management, transport management, and everything that has to do with school processes. Apart from doing that, We are also creating a solution by which, students right from kindergarten to secondary schools, they could have, their recommended textbooks, on mobile devices, and study anytime right from their closet with ease. They don't need to say, okay, we need to get to the school to read. We need to go and buy textbooks. All the textbooks, past exams and tests, they all be prepared in electronic form inside of the mobile devices, and also available as web applications on the school system by which they could have access and study anytime they need to study. Next slide, please. So we are looking at our customer acquisition strategies. First of all, we are putting in place programs of partnership with education consultants, resellers, and integrators who will deploy school life as value added to their product to clients. Currently, we have a partner who is very much interested in bringing like 30 clients of theirs on board, to integrate our solution with them. The name of the partner is called School Kit. They are into different school material. They supply school material, and they are well known in Nigeria. At the same time, we're also looking at workshops and seminars for prospects, which we are going to segment into different groups and follow with consultative selling using our sales model, which is the sprint model, which we've already used to secure the current client we have. And at the same time, we're also looking at marketing media to adopt, like digital marketing platforms, email marketing, retargeting, social media solutions, etc. Then likewise, we partner with both state and federal governments to deploy our solutions to schools across Nigeria. I mean, for the web solution, at the same time, global content and learning library will be targeted at the students. Then we also engage in direct selling, like sending sales letters, brochures to prospects to be granted opportunity for presentations. Then more of our website and platform by which solution will sell itself in such a way that you try the solution at first. Then from there, after trying the solution for a while, then you could subscribe to the premium. Next slide, please. So looking at our customer validation, the total addressable market for school life in Nigeria is over 30,000, but we are looking at the service addressable market of 50,000 schools, of which you can have a market share of 0.4%, that's like 60 schools the first year. And even with the same input, we could generate revenue of like $60,000 on the average, with the schools having average of like 500 students. We have schools in Nigeria that are well above that. Our current client is over 1,000. It's over 1,000 students, but at the minimum we should have maybe like 400. On the average, at least 500 students. So this can go to $1.08 million in 3 years with the same amount. Then, like I mentioned, that is school tech provider, which is interested in signing up at least 30 schools. That should generate at least $1,000 per year as soon as we kick off the team of the planning and management. Then our current sale is just with a client that we deployed the solution for in the last term, and that's like we're able to make $4,800 in revenue.
And this client is a school?
Yes.
So you are finding that schools are willing to pay you $4,000 or $5,000 each to pay for what you have to offer?
Yes, for your whole students.
I see.
Because it's actually priced per student. It's meant to be paid for per student. So what we are charging on the average is $4 per student.
Okay. So what are your questions?
Really, I'm just looking at asking some questions pertaining to intellectual property in Nigeria in such a way that, okay, you come up with an idea, you have a venture, you do presentation, and maybe you do a pitch for investors, and in the long run, your venture is not being used, but maybe a couple of months thereafter or years thereafter, you see your venture being run by one of these big guys. So how can one protect one's IP if one has a valuable solution or a valuable venture? Then at the same time, how can we leverage on the contact we've had with you, Shramna, and your partners?
Look, I don't know exactly what your legal system in Nigeria is, but in general, in the kind of business you're in, there really is no intellectual property protection. It's really in our business, in the startup business, it's really who can execute and get ahead. Unless you discover new algorithms or new technology, there is, at least in the global system, there is no real intellectual property protection. So you can't really protect your business from competition by using IP unless you have invented new intellectual property, which I don't think you have.
Okay.
Fred, do you have any comments on this business?
No, I think, well, I do see the business model. In Europe, I know there are many similar systems that primarily target on the schools and have a pricing model based on the number of students. Mm-hmm. And I think, you know, in some countries you are protected by you know, copyright law, but that's up to, I also, just like Swamana, I don't know the system in Nigeria. You should seek advice there.
Yeah, you have to get legal advice in Nigeria. I don't think either Fred or I or anybody else on our team would be able to advise you on Nigerian intellectual property laws. But probably there's something to do with copyright laws that might give you protection if you are generating original content.
Okay.
Okay.
And at the same time, I'm also looking at how can we get the venture funded, because that's the next line of action right now. We've related with a number of school service providers who are looking at our solution, integrating our solution with their own platform and sell it as value added as a whole now to their clients. So we are looking at, okay, how can we get it funded in the next level in such a way that deployment and management will be of ease for us?
You know, a company that is going to grow to 1.08 million in 3 years is of no interest to venture capitalists. Venture capitalists are trying to build businesses that go from 0 to 100 million in five years. So if you're going to go to 1 million in 3 years, that is of no interest to venture capitalists.
Okay. So
okay.
Is there anything
you're going to have to bootstrap your business.
Yeah.
What was that?
Sorry, Shramna, I didn't get that.
I didn't get what you were saying either. All right, Tunde, I think we've given you feedback. Feel free to, you know, do what you want with it, but I think that's this is a company that needs to be bootstrapped, is my assessment. I don't think investors would be interested in it, but it looks like the good news is you've got schools that are willing to pay on a per student basis, and if you can just get the schools to pay, you can start generating cash very quickly, and that's the best way to build businesses, not by investor money, it's by customer money, by revenue is how you build the best businesses. So in that sense, you're doing great. If you're able to get the schools to close and pay up, that's great. That's the best thing. Okay?
Yeah, we understand that, Frank. The only issue we are just having is the support service, because we know we are going to need a number of people to work with us to deploy the solutions and at the same time manage the solution after deployment. Then the key thing is to manage the accounts of clients effectively, because this has been an environment which I've worked for some time before I decided to do a startup on my own. So I know how it works, that you actually need to leverage on maybe on funding or support services and all of that to make sure that you give your clients the best.
Yeah, all right, so we need to move on, Tunde. Good luck with your business. I'm going to spend just a few minutes explaining to you how to use 1 million by 1 million folks. If you like what we're doing here, please refer your friends and colleagues who are serious entrepreneurs to 1M1M. We are looking forward to work with serious entrepreneurs who understand that you have to basically get to customers' revenues and profits to build businesses, not just, you know, hope for the best that some investor is going to come and bail you out. That's not the way businesses are built. All the resources that we offer are available at 1mby1m.com. You'll find a very rich blog that you can learn a lot from by just following the blog. It's free. The Entrepreneur Journeys book series, there are 12 volumes. You can get them all from Amazon Kindle, and another way for you to, you know, augment your learning through this set of tools. And you can also, you'll find a ton of material on our website to evaluate the 1M1M program and see if that's really what you want to use to learn. These free roundtables happen every week. You know, we are here almost every Thursday morning Pacific time. You can come to these roundtables, learn from them. You can listen to the recordings of these roundtables. And if you really want to get into the depths of the 1M1M program and use that as your primary learning mechanism, the premium program is a very good place for you to learn a lot from. We have a terrific curriculum that has been built over the last 10 years. And over 700 successful entrepreneurs have participated with their case studies and their points of view in it. So you get a very well curated set of case studies and video lectures that help you learn from them. We help you with business development, with strategy consulting. We have private roundtables like this where we do the strategy consulting. And we also help you with financing and media relations as it applies to your situation. If you are a fundable company, we can introduce you to investors and so on and so forth. So that's a premium program. The $1 Million Club on the website will give you some examples of premium members who have been successful, and you'll find an ROI equation on the website as well. The 1M1M self-assessment is something we recommend you put yourself through. Ask these questions about your business and see if you can answer them. It's important that you answer these questions in navigating your journeys. We've also introduced 1M1M Basic, which is a curriculum-only option that is $99 a month, mainly by request from our user base. So if you are not ready to jump into the premium program, you can get started with the basic. We're fine with that, and I believe you will learn a lot still. Do make sure that you budget 50 to 100 hours to really go through the curriculum to be able to grasp some of the issues that you need to grasp at a deeper level. Mainly my pointer is look around on the website. There's tons of material about the premium program, video FAQs, etc. And you can decide whether this program is for you or not. And if it is, we will be delighted to work with you. Our methodology is lean, capital-efficient, bootstrap startups. We know that you're going to have to bootstrap first, raise money later. You have to show traction before any investor would invest. And that's just the reality of the market today. So that's pretty much it. I don't have a whole lot else. There are tons of roundtables coming up. So 2 more in June, 4 more in July. Please register for the free roundtables if you want to talk to me. And we'll have a chance to discuss your business at one of these upcoming roundtables. We have a program called Incubator in a Box where we work with our corporate partners to run incubation programs in their respective geographies or domains, or even internal incubation work for intrapreneurs. So if you want to explore that, if you want to explore building an ecosystem in a particular geography, we'll be very happy to work with you as a partner, and we have a ton of customers in this space. We work with a lot of the tech majors and so forth. So that's pretty much it. If you have questions, please feel free to put it in public chat, or you can also dial in by calling 650-479-3208, access code 663-695-905. And let me also introduce you to Irina Patterson, who will answer all your questions about the 1M program. If you're trying to decide between basic and premium, or have any questions about whether this program is a good fit for you, feel free to reach out to Irina and she'll help you. Between the website and Irina, you should be able to get all your questions answered. That's pretty much it. Unless there are questions, we are at the end of the show. And Fred, thank you very much for participating today and also mentoring the entrepreneurs. It's great to have you, and I hope we'll keep in touch and hear from how Planon is doing. And one of these days, I'm sure you're going to do more, some more things that you want to share with us, in which case, please reach out.
Okay, I will. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Folks, we're going to wrap up today. We will be back here next week, so please go and register on the website, and see you same time, same place next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.